All right, good afternoon, everybody. So I've got the second phase of this irrigation system almost put in here. So I've got all the tubes laid. I just need to bury some of the pipes. I've got some of them already buried, but I wanted to lay out the grid work first before I did that in case there was any problems. And I'm actually not going to bury it very deep. I'm only going to bury it below the mulch, so it'll be just a couple inches deep. That way I can get to it if I need to. And in fact, I've already got some of the spray heads buried, as you can see here. So there's the head. That's all that's going to be exposed. And these happen to be full sprayers, so these will spray a good area around the tree. And it's going to water these plants more like rain would. And I think this is probably the best way that you can actually water your plants, especially as they get bigger, because they're really no longer in the well that you started with. Those roots are much further beyond, or should be. So you're kind of watering the roots of one plant by watering the well of another plant, if that makes any sense. So those roots should be kind of all over the place. And I was trying to figure out the best way to irrigate the yard so that it would cover the entire space, just like rain would, because I've noticed after a rain, everything looks so amazing, and it's because all the ground's been covered. Every single little root has gotten a little bit of a drink. And I've also noticed too, the more I've run these, the more it just stays wet. So now, I mean, I used to come home after work and it'd be a dust bowl, but now the extra water and the extra mulch really keeps it nice and moist out here. So it's a really nice environment, nice and cool, nice and humid. And these sprayers, you can see, kind of spray kind of at the base of the tree, underneath the tree. Stays a little bit lower. It doesn't quite spray up towards the top of the tree, so the upper leaves stay pretty much dry. It's just this lower stuff. And then I've also got it timed so that it goes from it follows the direction of the sun. So this is the afternoon sun, so these guys are getting the last of the irrigation. So as the sun goes from east to west, then the backyard, it starts with the backyard first because that stuff's on the east, and then those timers will just slowly go until it hits these out in the front here about, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to time them yet. But yeah, I wanted you guys to see this so you can kind of see the coverage. And the other wonderful thing that I don't have to worry about anymore is the wells. So I'm just kind of getting rid of the wells, and if they flatten off now, well then I don't really care, because they don't really need to hold water anymore. And if I need to put food out, compost or granular or whatever I feel like using, then I can just kind of spread it over the whole yard without thinking, because that's where all the roots will be. It's kind of all over the place. So I really like this. It's really going to solve a lot of issues, because like I said, it'll water this entire ground here in not that long of a period of time. So that's what the spray heads look like there. I'm going to go around. I mean, you can kind of see with the sun shining through there how much they cover and how high they go. So that's why I kind of started over here. But yeah, trying not to get my phone wet and ruin this one. But yeah, it just kind of sprays the whole yard. Let me pause it a second. I'll come around. Okay, yes, I don't know if you guys can see that, but covers a large area of ground, and I don't lose any outside of the yard out to the street, because I've got it placed in an area, and I have the pressure set so that it only sprays within my yard. So this is just wonderful, and I'm telling you, it's kind of, I wouldn't say cold, but it's definitely cool in this yard. I mean, with the wind, because that's another thing that changes too. As the sun goes down, the wind starts blowing back into the yard this direction. So all that mist and all that water is blowing kind of naturally back into the yard anyway. So yeah, so I've got these on different valves because the size of the yard, I needed multiple heads, because I didn't want to overtax each one of these heads. I wanted them to spray quite far. So each one of these lines or valves only has seven to 8 of these spray heads, so that each one of them is actually puts out the volume that I want. And you see it covers a pretty good size area. And man, it's nice out here. It is really nice. So yeah, this back one's running right now. This back line. See if I can come around here. I mean, look at that. Like, talk about tropical rainforest. It's literally, and it smells like rain too. This is awesome. So yeah, I am extremely happy with this. So let me turn this off and I'll go over these real quick. Ooh. Okay, so here's how I have this set up. All right, so I've got the main. The main comes in here, goes into this valve, quarter turn valve, 3/4, just like the one in the back, 3/4 to a 90, and then it goes to a 4 valve system, because 4 valves will fit perfectly inside these valve boxes. So I've got the 4 valves, the Rainbirds. These are the ones that have the adjustable pressure, which I really like, and they sit nice underneath this box. Be nice and hidden when I'm all done here. And then the pipes, you can see I've already got one buried underneath the mulch, so you won't even see those. Look at this, just water dripping off everything. Water dripping off my mangoes. This avocado's just loving it out here in this. And he's getting pretty much full afternoon sun. And he's doing wonderfully, because I got all this nice. So yeah, everything's just nice and wet. Nice and moist. Keeps that mulch nice and cool. So yeah, it's cool here. It is really nice where I'm sitting. So yeah, I'd use the same type of heads with these removable couplings. Full spray heads out here in the front. I've got some up against the fence that spray back into the yard, depending on where they're at in the system. And then when it's all buried, I mean, you can see it's just nice. You can walk all over the pipes. It's just the little spray emitters sticking up there, and I guess once you get used to those, you probably won't be kicking those or tripping those. But so yeah, it covers that whole area. So I've got one line at the back, one line at the front, covers this area, covers that area, and then I've got a line running back here, extra emitters for the citrus trees. Runs back along the back. Comes along the front here. So this is where I'm going to be using the half sprayers that spray in. Will be along this little strip right here, because I don't need all this wet. And then it'll come back this direction, and it'll spray this whole area, keep all this area cool. And then I've got the extra sprayers that I'm going to be setting up here for the bananas, because the bananas will fill this whole area eventually. I mean, just the one's gotten pretty good size, and I've got a couple more in here, so they will eventually fill up this area. So that's the irrigation for the front yard there. It was pretty simple once I got going again, because all these little click fittings, if you make a mistake, you just take it apart, reroute it, take it apart. You're not having to cut and glue things together. This is wonderful. So yeah, everything worked out perfect on that, on those irrigators. So I'll turn on the side here so you can see this one. I've got these on manual until I can wire them up. I've just got them placed in between plants like this, so that they cover that whole area, get it nice and cool. You can see the extras back there by the citrus, because he needs a little extra water. So yeah, that covers a really nice area. This is that side, the side yard, and you see it doesn't strike very high up onto the leaves themselves. It stays kind of on the lower quarter there. So there's how those work back in there. And so yeah, I'll go back there and I'll bury everything, make it look all nice and neat, and that'll also protect the PVC, because the only thing that'll be sticking up will be those little spray heads. So I think this will work out perfect. So yeah, I've been thinking on this one for quite a long time because I had so many trees out here. I didn't really want to put, you know, 150 different spray heads out here and 8,000 valves and whatnot. So I wanted to cover the entire ground, and I figured this sprinkler system would be the best way to do it. All right, guys, that is it for now. I'll keep you guys updated and do another little video once I get the rest of this done. Happy loquats. All right, guys.